It's April Garwood from Banana Moon Studio. I'm working on a video today to teach crocheters how to do the corner to corner or C2C stitch. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this camera around and show you how that's done. I'll be teaching you how to do the corner to corner crochet stitch. It is the stitch that I use to make this, which is my Chandler Cowl. I've got the camera close enough, I can't really show you the whole thing, but anyhow, so when you work in corner to corner stitch, you have what look like little squares, and we call each one of these squares a tile. Corner to corner crochet is usually something that comes along with a diagram. Looks like this. This is the diagram for the Chandler Cowl. And you always begin at the bottom right corner of the chart down here. We're used to the idea of rows in crochet, and corner to corner is worked in rows, but instead of going back and forth like so on this chart, we're going to go this direction. Okay, so we're going to be working up eventually to this corner, and then we'll be working across this way. Okay, so your rows are actually going like this. The yarn I'm working in today is the same yarn that I used to make the Chandler Cowl. I'm working in Ancient Arts Yarns Revival Worsted, which is a yarn made from recycled fibers, and I'm working in colors called a Midnight Clear and Embers and Ashes. So I'm going to start with the usual slip knot. Now I want to make a tutorial here that's going to be helpful for those making the Chandler Cowl, but you don't want to watch a video long enough to watch me make this entire thing. So what I'm actually going to work from is this little chart that hopefully will give you an idea of the things you'll need to be able to do to make the Chandler Cowl, but it's going to go a lot quicker. So we're going to start in this bottom right corner with a blue square, which is why I have my blue yarn ready. We're going to start by chaining 6. Okay, and then I will wrap, and I'm actually going to turn this chain over and work in these bottom loops across the back, and I want to do a double crochet stitch in the 3 chains furthest from my hook, so I'm going to start right here. Sorry, my hook's not going through there smoothly. Alright, so this is my first tile complete. It's 3 double crochet stitches and this chain 3 over here on the side, and that equals this box in the bottom right corner of my chart. Now when I turn this to begin the next row, I'm going to be doing this square right here, so it's also going to be blue. So I will turn and chain 6. And yarn over, and I'm going to double crochet in the 3 chains furthest from my hook, so that's here, here, and here. So I have worked this tile to the point where I'm ready to do the last yarn over for this tile, but if you look at my diagram, the next square I need to do is this one, and it's gray, or it's going to be this embers and ashes color. So actually this is the point where I need to change colors. So I'm going to get my ball of yarn here, that's my embers and ashes color. And what I want to do here is I want to leave the blue yarn on the back of my work, but I'm actually looking at the wrong side or the back of my work right now, so I'm going to leave this yarn to the front side, the side I'm looking at, and I'm going to yarn over with this other color and leave a long tail. And then I'm going to pull that through, and that completes the last double crochet in the first tile, but it also gets me a loop of this new color here. Okay, and what I want to do now is my slip stitch to finish this tile. It's going to go now under this chain loop from the tile in the first row. Oop, got snagged here. Okay, and I want to make sure that I leave the tail of this new color on this side of my work because that's the wrong side. So I'm going to slip stitch there, and now I'm going to chain 3 in this new color and put my 3 double crochets inside this chain space. I am actually going to crochet right over this yarn tail as I do that, just because that's going to help weave that in. Okay, so now I'm looking at the wrong side. If I turn it over this way, you can see how it matches. If I can put it somewhere we can see the diagram. Okay, we can see how it matches. I have 2 blue squares at the bottom and a gray square here, just like this corner where I have 2 blue here and a gray here. So now that I've turned it again, I'm looking at the right side, which means that the next box I'm going to do is this one. When I'm doing an odd numbered row, I'm looking at the right side of my work. When I'm doing an even numbered row, I'm looking at the wrong side of my work. Okay, but now we're going to do this box. So I want to chain 6. And then I will come back and double crochet in these 3 chains. Alright, so there's that, and I'm going to come over here. Let's take a look at this again. My next box is here, and it is also gray, so we'll continue in this color. So I will chain 3. We're going to change colors again at the end of this row, or I'm sorry, at the end of this tile. So now we're ready for the color change. I'm looking at the right side right now, so I'm going to leave this yarn to the back, and I'm going to find the blue end that I put down, and I'm going to yarn over with that, and slip stitch in this chain space with the blue. Now, as you're doing that, I'm going to turn this over for a minute. I pulled up, where is it? This right here. I left that yarn down here when I changed to the gray, and now I'm picking it up again to change back to the blue. It's going to be important that this float not be too tight. If it's too tight, it's going to make your work pucker. So keep your floats loose enough that you're not making your work pucker. Okay, so now I will chain 3. And 3 double crochets here for this tile. Okay, and then looking here again, my next tile is going to be this blue one. So we're going to go, on this round, we're going to go blue, gray, blue, gray. So I'm going to turn. Okay, so now we want to stitch here, here, and here. Okay, I'm going to have to take this back just a bit because I'm going to change colors here. Now I'm looking at the wrong side, so I'm going to leave the yarn to this side of my work. I'm going to pick up my gray, and remembering not to make my float too tight, I'm going to finish my double crochet there and slip stitch here. Okay, and then 1, 2, and 3, and double crochets, and I'm just going to crochet right over that float. And here I need to change colors again, so I'm going to bring the yarn back to this side and pick up the blue. I think I'm going to tighten this right here. Okay, and then I'm going to slip stitch here. And now I'm ready to change colors again, so I'll leave the yarn on this side and pick up my gray. Slip stitch here in this chain space and complete this tile. Okay, and I'll turn. In the diagram I have 4 blues across the bottom, and then above that I have 3 grays, and then I have a gray and a blue and a gray above that. Okay, now I want to go just a bit further with this video so that I can show you how to turn the corner when you get to this corner of the diagram. I want to show you how to turn that corner. I'm going to turn the camera off for a bit and come back to it when I'm ready to show you how to turn the corner. Slip stitch here. here's my slip stitch. Now the way this has been going, if I were going to keep making it taller this way, I would chain 3 and make another tile right here. But I don't want to make it taller at this point. So instead of doing that, I'm going to turn it. And I am going to slip stitch in the 3 double crochets of this tile that I just made. Slip stitch 1, 2, 3, and one more slip stitch in that chain space. Alright, so that allowed me to turn that corner. And now to make this box in my diagram, because that's what comes next, I will kind of turn it this way and chain 3 and make this tile. And now I have to change to gray, so I'll leave the blue at the back, pick up the gray. I'm going to tighten that blue because it got really loose. Slip stitch here. I've shown you just about everything that you're going to need to know to complete the Chandler Cowl, except when you get to this corner, the way that you're going to turn this corner is going to be very similar to the way we turned this corner, and I feel pretty sure that you can figure out what to do when you get to that point. I have finished my corner to corner swatch that I was doing, and you can see how it matches my diagram. And so this is just a small version of the Chandler Cowl that I was making for a how-to video, but I want to use this to show you how to seam your cowl at the end. I still have my yarn attached here. At the very last tile I slip stitched across the top, and I haven't cut my yarn. So I'm going to put the short ends together. I'm going to turn it this way. Okay, so what you want to do in order to seam it is you want to be in the corner here and go through both thicknesses of your cowl and slip stitch. And then you're going to chain 3. And then you're going to go through the corners of the next 2 tiles. This doesn't have to be exact, just roughly go through the corners and slip stitch them. Oops, I'm caught. And slip stitch them together. There we go. Ah! Okay, and chain 3. Go through the corners of the next 2, or the next tile, but through both thicknesses, and slip stitch, and chain 3, and go through the corners of the next 2 tiles. There's not an exact spot you need to put this, just go through the corner roughly and slip stitch and chain 3, and the corners of the next 2 tiles and chain 3, and go through the bottom corner, both thicknesses, and slip stitch. Cut your yarn, which I already did, and fasten off. And then I've still got a lot of ends hanging out here that'll have to be woven in, but I want to show you how this looks when I turn it right side out. this is my seam. And you can see, you know, the blue slip stitches holding it together. But really, when you look at the finished cowl, the join, when you look at the finished cowl, the join is actually really hard to see. In fact, I have to look. I have to really look for it in order to find it. Oh, there it is. Can you see the stitches here? Wait, oh, there it is. Right here. Okay, so that is the join in the cowl, but it's actually pretty hard to see. So that is how you seam the Chandler Cowl. As always, find my latest free patterns, tutorials, and reviews at bananamoonstudio.com. And please remember to like, subscribe, share, and comment, because that helps me. And also look in the description box below this video for the link to the free pattern for the Chandler Cowl. And I hope you all have a lovely day.